So hello everyone, it's me Zainab and I'll be doing this video alone because somehow my sister doesn't like what I'm gonna do a video about. I don't think I'm seeing a lot of people agreeing with me on this. I hope that you'll have some similar opinions to me. If you don't agree, you can always comment below. I'm just planning on bringing some perspective. I think the audience of this show is mostly under 20. It's like a teenager show, so I'm recording for the first time in front of my wall. Here you can see all the sitcoms that I love. And I just edit High School Musical, the series. I hate it when I first heard it too. When you get into it, you can kind of see that it's kind of a running joke.
From Disney Plus, it's Frozen the musical, the series.
They would never call the show that. It's way too long and complicated, the title.
I got a second chance to fall.
The relationships that are written in the show. I will have some controversial opinions. Ricky and Nini is Nini, Ricky and Gina is Rina, EJ and Gina is Portwell, and mostly if you're watching this video, you probably know their ship names. We all know that now Rina is Endgame. I actually saw that a lot of people are actually happy about this. I'm kind of shocked. When I first started watching the show, I was a Rina shipper too. I actually binged the show like in 5 days or something. I just started watching in August. I was a Rina shipper from the first season. In the 5th episode, you know, that homecoming episode in the car, she kissed. Because I don't really like conventional ships, force us to ship them. Like Rina was like that for me. And I like the alternative ships, how we see the relationship evolving, not we're told about it. After season 2 and how they were written, I was not sure if I liked it. And then Portwell came as an option and they kind of showed how it evolved into that, and I wasn't really expecting, I don't know why, even though it was kind of teased at the end of season 1.
A friend bought me a last-minute flight back.
So I'm gonna talk about it chronologically. Let me start from the season 1. So yeah, I like that homecoming episode, and you know, Ricky mentions like we sort of like got each other because
I'm an outsider to the theater stuff, and you're like an outsider to East High.
That episode when she offers a ride to home, we kind of see them talk in the car, and it's like a really intimate moment. I feel like the characters connect for the first time there. You know, when the series starts, he is so occupied with Nini and how he screwed up his relationship with her because he wanted to take a break, and Nini getting together with EJ and moving on from him. His parents are separating and he kind of looks for a crutch. There are some continuity errors there. They tell us that they've been dating for only 1 year, but they met while they were children or something like that. So yeah, he looks for something safe, search for that in Nini because he has been with her all along. But then we see Gina, like someone that can actually understand him. Her mom is single. She knows how to not be a complete family, you know what I mean. And also she's moving a lot. She knows change and she doesn't really like it either. Like Ricky is so resistant to change, you can see that.
You're mad at everyone and everything because just when you're getting used to things changing, they change again.
Actually, Gina represents change to him too, and he's not really ready. Even though he feels like something could happen, it's again something that is changing. So he doesn't really want to explore that, but also wants to, so like he's always in between, right? Now Gina is moving away too, so it's not a safe place. He's kind of losing his mom. She's moving on from his dad. Now Gina is moving away too, so he doesn't want to trust it. And then he just reverts back. He kind of tells that to us at the end of season 1.
It's tough, you know, seeing Gina. It's like she never left. But I'm also not who I was a week ago, or maybe I'm just back to who I always was. Something's different.
So like Nini could be interested in him again. So he kind of sees a spark there and it feels safe to him. He kind of gives up on Gina and of course tries again with Nini. I think the urge of him to tell I love you is because he needs to say that in order to get back with Nini so much, because now it's the safest option. Even though he wasn't sure about his feelings before, he knows that he doesn't have to be sure, he just has to do it. I don't think he knows what loving is like. He just says it to get his relationship back. I don't think I can see love in between those two. I don't know why. So if I want to sum up, at this point, we know Ricky and Nini have gotten back together and they're gonna try again. I get it because Nini wanted to hear him say I love you, and that was their first problem. And now that he said it, she feels like maybe she can trust him again. Ricky went to his crutch. His parents are divorcing. Now he has a safe relationship. She has become his new home. He chose Nini over Gina. At that point, it makes sense.
And I'm scared to talk to my best.
When season 2 starts, we know that Nini has to leave for Denver because she wants to follow her dreams, and I kind of like that plot line. When they like try long distance, I don't think a lot of teenagers can do that. I really don't know how Nini doesn't tell Ricky that she is leaving for Denver. I know that it's a lot of burden that Ricky, like the fact that Ricky says,
You're my home.
puts Nini in a really difficult position because she feels like now she can't really leave him and she has all this responsibility to kind of be like his mom. It's a lot of burden to put on a teenager. Don't really get why they would wait this much like EJ does too in season 3. That person should be the first person you're telling. Like, how can you keep that and make the relationship going? Anyways, season 2 has a really big revelation actually. We see that Gina actually confessed her feelings to Ricky at the end of season 1, and we know that it's shot at the end of season 1.
I wouldn't quit on us if I wasn't moving away.
That was a really big revelation for me. When we observe how Ricky has been behaving in season 2, he completely blows Gina off. He doesn't even act weirdly around her. He just behaves like she is one of the people in the theater group, even though they have been flirting the whole semester and she confessed her feelings. I don't know why they wrote him like that. Even if he didn't like her back, I would still expect them to put some awkward moments between them. Like when Gina appears in front of her door, I was trying to understand why Gina would just go and show up in his door and talk about her mom. He has a girlfriend that is living in a long distance. According to how Ricky acts there, he doesn't seem like they used to like each other, but like he's feeling weird because he doesn't like her being there. He's disturbed. It looks mostly like he's feeling bad. She has feelings for him, but he has a girlfriend, but not like he likes her back too.
I think you'll get yours too.
I'll live.
The showrunners revealed that the chocolates were from Ricky. It feels like a gesture to make her happy, not because he liked her. But it's really weird, like why would he make that joke? Like,
What, do I need to send you a random box of chocolates to prove it?
I really don't get that scene, and I was really angry at him for like even referencing that moment because it should be embarrassing for her. You've been kind of ignoring her the whole semester and now you're just making random jokes. I really don't get why Ricky was written like that. I'm so mad at him. Like at that point I just stopped kind of shipping Rina because they had really ruined it. And then when EJ shows up at the quinceañera, shows Gina that he's caring.
That was just you asking how I was feeling?
Is that okay?
We see all these gestures he's doing, and he also had a really big character development in the series. I actually like his character a lot. That's like a start of something new. And then we see them spending time with each other, and then we kind of see a relationship growing, even though they don't really completely understand each other. Like,
My entire life has been mapped out for me for as long as I can remember.
I'm always one natural disaster away from landing in a new place.
that contrast actually brings some new perspectives to their lives. I don't know, it's like complementary. Like they can help each other in different aspects, you know. There's like 2-year age difference, so I get that it wouldn't really work that much. When you think about it, like in high school, 2 years is a lot. When he graduates, their bond would probably end after some point because I don't think a lot of high schoolers can go long distance, will be separating their paths. But yeah, it's the start of something good in my opinion. I want to talk about Rini. I really love how their breakup is written. Even though Olivia was getting famous, there was some drama going on in the background. Think about their character arcs. It really feels natural because Nini should have some grudge against Ricky because he called things off while she was just going to a camp for the summer, even though they've known each other their whole lives. I would be mad at him even though he said I love you. Their relationship shouldn't go that smoothly. Nini, when she leaves for Denver, she's trying to find herself even though the school was like a prison. She's by herself for the first time, and then when she gets back because she was unhappy, not because Ricky wasn't there, I can get Ricky's trying to hold on too tight to her. He can't really trust his parents, but Nini isn't in that kind of a situation. I don't think she wants to handle that much responsibility over a teenager. She isn't part of the musical and she really doesn't want to be because she doesn't want to spend all this time with Ricky, and I get that they should have some separate lives too.
If I'm in rehearsals and you're off doing your solo thing, when will we see each other?
We see each other all the time, Ricky. It's not that deep if I want to try new stuff.
But Ricky just wants to spend all his time with her, so he kind of forces her into the show. I don't think they respect each other's needs, especially Ricky in this situation. She writes the Rose song.
I won't be confined to your point of view.
And I get that when you grow up with someone and you've been together all your life, you can start seeing yourself from their point of view. It can be really hard to discover yourself as your own person. But what goes wrong here is that she completely blows off Ricky while they are boyfriend and girlfriend. The lyrics are obviously about him, and it's really weird that she is denying this.
I'm just a little relieved that the whole school's not gonna hear my girlfriend singing about being kept under glass.
Just a song, Ricky.
Kind of gaslighting into thinking it's not about him. She's inspiring everyone and he should be happy for her. Of course he should be happy for her success, but the song is saying she is under a glass when she's in this relationship. And Ricky's kind of trying to talk about this, but she's always avoiding. They're actually boyfriend and girlfriend at this point, so avoiding is not really an option.
Chasing you down all the time.
I don't like running away.
Gets jealous and deletes a comment that's the boundary crossing point. And I really like their breakup actually.
At least I was taking risks. Never had that here. Always been Nini and Ricky.
Yeah, I think I've been trying to protect that. It feels safe.
See, the thing is, I don't want to feel safe.
Honestly, I don't like who I'm becoming.
Are we breaking up?
I don't want to hold you back.
I don't want to hold you back either.
That's a really intimate and well-crafted moment. Their breakup story is really heartbreaking and more beautiful than their relationship ever was. Even though the showrunners said everything changed in that homecoming episode when Gina kissed Ricky on his cheek. They told, oh, we should write towards this. I don't think they decided making Rina the end game at that point. How season 2 is written, I don't think it's moving towards Rina. It feels like they planned it after season 2, when Olivia decided to leave the show. I'm still not sure they would make Rini endgame either because of their breakup.
Here's to second acts.
New beginnings. Guess we are literally on the same page.
Just for a moment.
Okay, so at the end of season 2, we see Lily and Ricky coming together. It has a really weak reasoning, which is
sometimes people deserve a second chance.
people analyze this and say that Lily has some resemblances to Gina, and now that Gina is not available, he is kind of running towards Lily.
My mom always says if I'm not adding followers, I'm not adding value.
My mom always says that if you can't be number one at something, it isn't worth doing.
Her name's Lily. I'm not sure she's as mean as we thought.
Let me guess, you pictured a wrought iron gate and a bunch of gargoyles?
Kinda. You're not that scary.
Okay, we can overanalyze it, but it isn't even for one episode. I mean, he just breaks up because, of course, he stole the harness. I mean, how could they not really predict this? But anyway, he loved Nini, and it was a really hard breakup for him to get over. Then he just moved on with a random girl. It seems like he's jumping from one girl to another. It doesn't even seem like a plot device. I mean, for a plot device to work, it should move the story forward. But Ricky and Lily coming together doesn't make any story move forward. Even if they were going to make Rina endgame, it doesn't add anything to that either. Like, if we saw at the end of season 2 that Ricky was single, like Nini, also saw he observed Gina and EJ and how she could move forward from him. Someone understood him, but he kind of screwed that up because he was trying to fix things with Nini. We could have seen that he was kind of sad that he screwed it up with her. He would kind of give himself some time to discover himself, and that could really move the story forward and make Rina more meaningful. Beginning of season 3, we saw that Gina is this self-confident girl, which I of course get that she can be, but it feels like she just found her confidence because a guy liked her. I think the problem with the show mostly is that they don't write the characters as themselves, like fully develop the characters with their history and with their arcs, but rather they try to explore the characters through their relationships. The only person they do this with is Nini, because they always write separate stories for her, and it's probably because they want Olivia to shine as herself. But for any other character, even Ricky, even if he's single the first season, we kind of see him trying to get together with Nini the whole season, like the meaning of his life depends on his relationship with Nini, and then after that he just jumps to Lily. Even though people defend that he was single throughout whole season 3, his mind is occupied with Gina. He doesn't really have that much time to explore himself because his mind is always occupied with relationships and other people. You know, actually his arc through the end of season 2 was going well, even though I didn't like him while he was with Nini. I kind of liked him after his breakup. And I also liked EJ and Gina more. They were trying to make EJ and Gina grow together. Big responsibilities thrown over EJ at the beginning of season 3, the director of the Frozen musical. When I first watched season 3, I thought the camp was like 2 months or something, but in my rewatch I just saw that it was only 2 weeks. It's really a weird timeline because if you think about it, all the seasons are 1 semester and then season 3 is only 2 weeks. I like that it's in the summer, but still, I know that people actually watch it over the years. Timeline wise, if you think about it, the way I watched it actually makes more sense because all the seasons, they come one after another and there isn't really any time period in between them. So like EJ and Gina have been dating only for 1 month, I don't know. And then we see Ricky just in between them, like appearing. After the Cancinero, we didn't really see Gina and Ricky interact.
We aren't dating.
Obviously.
So maybe there are better people to confide in about Nini.
so they didn't really write any scenes between them. They probably didn't know how to handle it because they were trying to tie up all the Rini relationship and then they were just trying to build Portwell. But I still think they should have put an interaction. That was a must. Because now that we are in season 3 and we only have 8 episodes, really rushing everything. And then Ricky is all of a sudden this goofball. I think Joshua's acting really changed in between. Enjoyable and like funny person, even though in season 2 it was clear that he was really depressed. And season 3 is just after season 2, so there is a really high jump in his character. He is the main character of the series. It's really obvious that we are following him throughout the series. It actually makes it a lot harder for us to empathize with him. We don't really get what he's trying to do. He's all of a sudden interested in Gina and he's acting weird around her. While in the second season, he just pretended like nothing had went on between them. Now in season 3, he kind of acknowledges that what they had was weird. There is a huge shift. They really handled season 2 very bad in case of Rina. I mean, if they were trying to make Portwell the main couple of the series, then I get it. Ricky and Gina would be on good terms and nothing awkward would happen between them and they could be friends. But the way they write season 3, it doesn't seem like they want Portwell to be endgame. From the beginning, we can see that. They don't put a I'm sorry scene to Ricky. I just don't get this.
Can we just start over?
Gina is the one saying this, by the way. And then they just pretend like nothing happens. How can this make Rina rootable couple? He didn't even say sorry that he didn't care for her feelings. He kind of dismissed her all semester and acted like nothing happened when she confessed her feelings to him. He should have apologized. For us to root for Ricky as a character, we should empathize with him. And we should see that he's sorry, so that Rina can again win her hearts back. And we can actually put a meaning to his behavior. We don't have to overanalyze this. We should see the characters also putting meaning to their actions too. That's the problem there. She still has some unresolved feelings for Ricky. And she's kind of spending time with him alone. We kind of see EJ being jealous too, but he doesn't even really talk to Gina about why it bothers him that they're spending some alone time. The woman in the woods scene, all those. That's probably the time where Ricky starts to realize that he has real feelings for Gina.
Check this out. Hearts racing.
That's a really weird moment. Like, I don't get what he's trying to do. Are you trying to flirt with someone who has a boyfriend? Gina kind of tried to do that, then she quickly backed off. But Ricky never really does that. He doesn't really avoid her, but continues flirting with her all the time. It's really weird that Gina doesn't really put a stop, doesn't put a boundary. Like, when you have a boyfriend and you liked someone a lot before him, don't try to spend time with them. Even if EJ is kind of ignoring her, she shouldn't have spent time with Ricky. She could have been more understanding. It was only 2 weeks. EJ's dad is trying to send him to the Caswell Business School or something. He should have told to Gina like immediately. He shouldn't have waited. That there is no excuse for that. But the reason he's trying to work on this so hard is for him to stay in Salt Lake so he can spend more time with Gina. Like, she doesn't see this fact. She just sees the fact that he didn't tell the truth immediately. Of course, I get that she's mad, but I still think she could have been more understanding because it's only 2 weeks. I mean, if the documentary is a success or is not a success, he can leave, but you can decide on this after that. Gina moves backwards in her development and she's acting too childish. I don't know why. I think if Ricky wasn't there, she would be more understanding towards EJ. It's clearly about Ricky being there and then he's showing her interest. And then she sees an interest from someone who is not her boyfriend, while her boyfriend is ignoring her. And of course, she thinks like, why is someone else showing me interest and my boyfriend is not? I don't not want to be someone's priority. The way they are written, it's like their characters could actually reconcile and work. They got on well in the first place. They cared about each other and I think Gina would be more understanding. But just because they wanted Ricky and Gina to end up together, they made Gina not understanding towards EJ. And some of the things she's upset about are really ridiculous.
Will you be my date to the camp prom?
I really wish I could. There's a rule. No dates allowed to the prom, so nobody's feelings can get hurt.
Oh.
But hey, look, maybe we could just sit here and paddle away till the fireworks go off.
It's not like a rejection, it's just a fact. I don't know, I see a child on Gina's face. Some things that she is really upset about aren't really big things. Rina went through some bigger problems and they could work it out. So it feels like when you watch season 3, you feel like Gina didn't really like EJ, just went into the relationship because she was feeling lonely. But in season 2, it wasn't really like that. It looked like she genuinely liked EJ. and she really cared about him. I get it, like she liked Ricky more because they understood each other in another level, while EJ was the guy who showed two-sided interest that could have made her feel important for the first time. She was the one going to EJ at the end of season 2 and saying like, can I kiss you? She kind of tried to move forward with this too, and EJ kept showing up. They wanted to show us that EJ was the guy who showed up, but in season 3 Ricky is the guy who shows up, but he was not. If season 2 Ricky went on to season 3, because it's just after the semester, he would not be like that. Even if he showed Gina interest, I don't think it would evolve into something this certain. And the fact that makes it weird is that he has a crush on Gina. Like,
It's possible I wasn't completely acting today, pretending to crush on Gina.
in season 1, I can see that they liked each other. There was this person like he was interested in for the first time. But then season 2, we don't really see his side because he's trying to work on a relationship, and I don't think he wants to explore his feeling for another girl. But in season 3, even though his feelings can normally become apparent in time, we just see he is instantly crushing on Gina while he just broke up with Lily. Even if we solve that he broke up with Lily because kind of had some feelings for Gina, that would make sense, but it's just all over the place. Like, he was just with Lily, goes to the camp, and all of a sudden he's interested in Gina. Like, it should have taken more time, and he should have realized that he genuinely liked her, not crushed on her. Think about the what do you know about love scene. It feels like Ricky has a lust, and it's mostly physical attraction, not really the emotional connection that we knew Ricky and Gina had in season 1. And that's probably the problem, because they used to have a deep connection and they understood each other, and that was their dynamic, and that was the thing that we rooted for.
Let's watch.
I don't know.
But we owe it to the team.
I'm glad you came back.
Because they understood each other, they could communicate it with each other. But in season 3, their dynamic changes a lot, and they're like flirting all the time. There isn't a deep connection, but mostly like a superficial flirtatious dynamic. Rather, we could see some scenes in between Gina and Ricky, maybe about how it's hard to work relationships and how sorry Ricky was that he couldn't be her friend when he was with Nini. He didn't know what to do when she stayed after her confession. They could have talked all about this. That would have made their connection way deeper, and they would start rooting for Rina way more. And that Portwell breakup, of course. I get their breakup, really. I get that Gina is upset. But just one day later, the show is finishing, and we will see if EJ can stay or is he gonna go. If she loved him, she would probably wait for one day and see how the musical turned out, how the documentary turned out, because we see after the show that they're trending in Brazil, so it's a good progress. People are so mad at EJ for making the breakup about Ricky.
You haven't joined the whole bucket list quest thing, which has actually been super fun.
Sorry, is it me, or do both of those things have the same person in common?
This is not about Ricky.
Well, I know there's history there.
I was trying to make a future with you.
She says it's not about Ricky, but he has a really big impact. Because if he wasn't there, she probably would have tried to make it work more with EJ. I wish that they could acknowledge it was kind of about Ricky and how her hopes were fed more when Ricky started showing up for her. I get that. She could break up with EJ because he was gonna move.
I mean, you graduated from East High. Your world is getting bigger. I'm still at the photo booth trying to fit 3 mustaches on my face for a group photo.
I could do those things.
That's just it. You've done those things when you were a camper here.
Their lives would change, but Ricky is still there in high school, so they can be physically closer, while EJ's far away. I get she wouldn't want her first relationship to be long distance. They make this about EJ not showing up. After all this character development written, they just try to make him the villain again because they want us to root for Ricky. Honestly, think about it. What Ricky is trying to do is really confusing for Gina. If I were Gina, I would actually be mad. He's just showing this interest just after his breakup with Nini. Like, it makes Gina look like the second option. She's in a happy relationship normally, but he's now always showing up and trying to confuse her. He knows that she clearly had feelings for him. It was actually easier to empathize with EJ than with Ricky, in my opinion. Gina and Ricky's characters both regress in this plotline, in my opinion. I actually liked what Ricky did, how he helped Gina about that proposal thing. I think that was decent. After the Portwell breakup, the fact that he learned that Portwell broke up and he kept recording behind the bushes thing to himself and not say Gina.
We broke up tonight.
Really?
Okay, so what did you say to Carlos that day?
I told him that he looked majestic as Olaf.
Nothing wrong with a friendly fib.
You can say that again.
That was a decent behavior because you wouldn't want to confuse her. But I really don't like that. EJ sees them just after their breakup. Gina and Ricky are talking together. Even though EJ was dismissive, I get that Gina would be mad, but I don't think it would be a reason to finish the relationship. And I like that the lottery tickets that Nini sent.
She remembered the lottery ticket.
It's a good closure for Rini. I don't think we needed that talk between them. But then we flash forward to 1 month later. I hated that 17 years later thing in Harry Potter 2. I don't like flash forwarding. That's a lazy writing for me. I think the writers should show what happened in between. Also, we can synchronize with the time, feel synchronized with the characters, don't feel like something is happening all of a sudden. And in this case, we don't feel like it's 1 month later, rather 1 day later. This documentary is, of course, it's really funny. I love that trailer. I laughed a lot while watching it.
Is there anything we can do to stop this documentary from coming out?
No.
And then he just plans on walking away. If he was infatuated with Gina this much in season 3, he gave up too quickly. Gina is again the one confess her feelings. I wasn't expecting Gina to again tell her feelings to Ricky because we already heard her side. We have been seeing how Ricky has been feeling throughout all season 3, but that has not been communicated whatsoever to Gina. I'm sorry that I avoided you because you felt like something new to me and I was scared. Those chocolates were from me. Even though the writers told us chocolates were from him, they didn't tell that to us through the show. We don't need to know that background info. We had to see Ricky tell that to Gina so that she would feel valued. And at that moment, Ricky's again in the observer point. Like, he's always in freeze mode. He's not taking any actions. He was just ready to walk away at that moment too. He was just gonna let that slide, even though he said,
Can't believe I let color war slip through my fingers.
You mean Gina?
but he was gonna do that again. I get that he didn't feel Gina was ready to hear his feelings about her 1 month earlier in the camp just after her breakup with EJ. We just saw that documentary. That was an opportunity for him to say. The documentary seemed like they have feelings for each other, but it wasn't like a lie. It wasn't an edit. It was actually true for me. He could have said that at that moment. But again, it's Gina taking action. And I don't like that she said,
I can't be a maybe anymore, EJ. Not now and not later.
but Ricky has been the most unstable thing in her life because she was always confused about what he was feeling towards her in season 2, and that was the thing that messed up her head a lot, that she even thought about leaving the school.
I don't have maybe feelings about you. You aren't a maybe. You're a yes. So I'm going to walk out of here with my head held high, and I'm never gonna look back again unless you stop me.
She's giving the choice to Ricky. She actually should see Ricky stepping up. The problem he always had with Ricky was that she was always going after him, not him coming after her. I saw an alternative script where Ricky was saying the box of chocolates were from him and how he couldn't sign it. Now kind of hope that he did. He was in a weird place with Nini. That would have been so much better, even though like the writing could have been changed. Because we could at least see Ricky's side. I think they wanted to make Ricky kiss Gina, Ricky tell him wait, because they wanted to do the parallels with, I think, the season 2 flashback.
I'm gonna give you a really tight hug. I'm going to walk out of here with my head held high, and then I'm gonna walk away with my head held high. And I'm never gonna look back again unless you stop me, okay?
Wait.
If they kind of did the reverse in the first one, Gina being the one who confesses, and the second one, rather, Ricky doing the confession. Like, we could still use those moments as parallels, but it would kind of parallel what he did to Nini too. But in the Nini version, he kind of did it because he had to get back together. But in this version, it would be a choice for him to do it, not a necessity, you know, because he wants to try again, not that someone else is expecting him to do it. Being able to express himself and trying something new.
And every turn will be safe with me.
I'm not really gonna comment on season 4 because, you know, they are a couple in season 4. The only thing I'm gonna say is that it looks a lot like a honeymoon phase. I don't think they would be this happy if they got together after that much drama. I'm still expecting that apology. I'm really sorry. I really wanted Gina to say that she felt like a second option, and I think they should have worked on building their relationship over a time. Then they put all this drama with Mac too. Did we really need another love triangle? We still have some problems to figure out between Gina and Ricky. That would have made the relationship more real. Even though I love watching them in season 4 and they are so cute. Looks like a caricature, and the reality of the show is kind of lost. Dynamic doesn't even resemble Lina anymore. Of course, I'm gonna admit, I screamed while watching maybe this time.
Let's live in the moment, letting go, but also holding on to hope that it'll all work out fine. Maybe this time.
while seeing those flashbacks because I love those kinds of edits. And I love Can I Have This Dance?
One in a million, the chances of feeling. Let it rain, let it pour. What we have is worth fighting for. It's like catching lightning, the chances of finding.
I have to admit, like, they have the best chemistry of the show. Probably it's affected by the fact that Sophia Wiley and Joshua Bassett get along really well behind the scenes and they are really good friends. When you think about Olivia and Joshua, when they were acting together, they were both really mundane. The energy was low when they were together. With EJ and Gina, like Gina kind of is an uplifting person. They were kind of really cute together and they really displayed like a healthy dynamic in season 2. A relationship that is growing, that resembles real life relationships more because like when you think of Ricky and Gina in season 4, really a cuddly, they can't get their hands off of each other, they are kissing all the time. If you think about the season, they want to tell things to each other, but there are always something preventing them from talking to each other. So like we are not able to see their communication.
Too much to explain.
There's something I want to say to you.
I have something to tell you too.
I think really want to go first this time. Change of plans. Meet me in the dressing room at intermission. Sorry, just gotta...
No, she's not in there, Ricky. You don't know, do you?
Nini never tried to tell Ricky he was leaving, or EJ never tried to tell Gina that he was gonna leave. But when something bad happened, like when Ricky was gonna tell, they didn't want Gina to be Gabrielle anymore because she would be too busy, and Gina would tell him be a stunt couple with Mac. They were gonna tell each other at that instant, and I get that it's a good communication, but we never see them communicating. We just see the attempts. That's what happens when Gina becomes Juliet and when Ricky wants to say I love you. We always see these attempts, the things that Nini and EJ never did to them, but we never see the communication happening. They're like Romeo and Juliet, like they can't get together. I don't know if they try to do that parallel. That's probably, yeah. Now that I'm thinking, they try to make a reference there too. That's what they do, besides Troyella. The one thing I loved in season 4 was how EJ and Ricky talked. If Ricky hadn't talked to EJ and EJ didn't really like slap his face, not literally, but like figuratively.
Is this the part where I fake slap you, or...?
No, this is the part where you let me hug you.
Why didn't we hang out more in high school?
Oh, I don't know, maybe because you were always stealing my girlfriends.
Well, you had to ruin the moment.
He would have still ran away, and I think he would have messed the relationship with Gina too, even though people say that he evolved a lot. People don't change that easily. I'm just trying to say, to sum up, I'm gonna say this. I love how Ricky and Nini are written to be broken up. Makes so much sense that they finally come together at the end of season 1, because then season 1 would have no meaning whatsoever. But I love that they break up just after mid-season 2. It feels like a natural flow to me. It doesn't feel like they are broken up just because the drama went behind the stages or just Olivia is gonna leave. It doesn't seem like that to me. Even if Olivia stayed for the show, I wouldn't expect them to bring them together because I think their breakup just for a moment, that card scene, is a really good closure. As for Gina and EJ, way things turn out, it feels like EJ is just a plot device, just to make story move forwards for Ricky and Gina. You know how Olivia left the show. If they didn't change Ricky's character, they should have made him leave the show too. But of course Joshua is so cute and also Ricky was their main character. I get that they wanted him to stay in the show and that's why I tried to make Rina endgame, because they were gonna make Gina the new lead and then Ricky also too. EJ and Gina weren't gonna be that strong as a main couple of the show because EJ was gonna graduate and he couldn't be in the picture anymore. And it's sad because in real life I don't know what happened to them, but I think it would have taken more time for them to break up relationship like Portwell. There is a reason they are written this way, and it's because they want Ricky and Gina to end up. I don't think Portwell would happen like this in season 3 if they didn't want Ricky and Gina to end up. I've seen someone talk about this on YouTube. The fact that EJ is made a plot device is really bad for the story because he's one of the 4 main characters. Like in posters we always see Ricky, Gina, Nini and EJ. These 4 characters are moving the story forward. Ricky and Nini and then EJ and Gina. This is a good pairing. If you think about the second chance video, the pairings that are chosen, if this is the case, then it makes characters' importance similar. Gina and EJ have the similar importance and Ricky and Nini have the similar importance to the story. Ricky and Nini, the main characters, and EJ and Gina are just below. But in season 3, of course, slowly believing, Gina becomes such an important character that she is now the main lead. Now she isn't at the same level of importance with EJ, so that brings out a really complicated dynamic, and that's what actually makes Rina get together. As a character, I think normally EJ is stronger, and that's a really wasted character because they kind of bring depth to him, but Ricky's depth finishes at the end of season 2. The character that is written the best is EJ, like overall. I think they kind of really build up his relationship with his dad, Nini, and how it was disappointing for him that he didn't even want to give a shot to Gina in the first place. Jamie told him they saw him as Gina's brother. All these complicated feelings. EJ is a deep character normally, but just because they want Ricky to shine, they always put him in a back place. And I think normally he's more intriguing than Ricky. I don't really like Ricky's character. Only season 4, when he becomes kind of a good boyfriend, I think Joshua kind of fools us because he's so cute that we want to like Ricky because of his face and because of his heart, of course. But if you think about it, Ricky isn't that good of a character and a person. But Gina was so interesting, and they kind of butchered it to make her more superficial when they tried to make her come together with Ricky, and that's why people think her character is assassinated. Overall, after this video, I can say I'm a multi-shipper. Logic-wise, Portwell was the relationship that has the most potential of being healthy, but because they changed the direction of all the characters' arcs and how the energies and how the chemistries of the characters work, Rina seems like a really good endgame. They are the two main leads. I mean, it kind of makes sense. But we didn't like Rina because it made sense. We liked Rina because they had an intimate connection. That's what bothers me. I wanted to see them get together because of their deep connection, not because they were the main leads and it made sense to the story. When you watch their videos out of context, it makes sense. I watched a lot of Rina edits and I can say that it really made sense to me, their story, and I loved it. And it wasn't a perfect story, and I think that's what made it okay for me. You don't have to always have a perfect getting together love story like Jim and Pam from The Office. I hate how they get together, but after they get together, their relationship is really written well. When you watch it from the beginning, I think I kind of watched it from the beginning like 3 times or something. The writing is really sloppy, and I think COVID has a really big part in this. I think they would build it up more if they did like 7 seasons. I think Tim Federer's aim was that. But I don't know if they did 7 seasons, it would evolve to that. The writing should have been completely different in season 2, at least after half point. I still like Rina, but I would change a lot of things. And I wrote a fan fiction about this, and I can put it below. Like, I changed the writing of the show and how it would have made more sense, and it would have made more justice to EJ, Portwell, and also Rina. Thank you for listening to this. It was too long, I know, but it was a cathartic video for me too. So don't forget to subscribe and like my videos. See you in the next ones. Bye!
A second chance is all.
Hey, what's going on? I just had this big dumb plan to go out with EJ tonight, and he just canceled. For good.
I don't know what's going on between you and EJ, but you are a force of
Nini.
nature. You have this energy about you that's so
Off-putting.
powerful. And I'd say any guy would be lucky to have you, but that's not the point. Truth is, we're all lucky to know you.
You're still doing it. Lifting other people up. You did it all night. Look, I'm really sorry about the whole Valentine's Day chocolates thing.
Honestly, it was more about me and you than it was about me and him. I was just hoping we were finally in a place where you could, like, 100% trust me.
You're a really solid person, Nini.
Losing Gina hurt like hell, but you are my brother, and she was happy, so I moved on. But honestly, dude, there are a lot of things that I would have done different. I wish I would have stood up to my dad sooner. I wish I had spent last summer having more fun. There are just so many things that I didn't get right.
I had no idea.
Sometimes things don't work out, and our job is to just shake it off and hold on to some hope for what's next. And look, dude, I think there are plenty of people who do more than just worry about you, but you have to let them. You think that you're the guy that runs away and that's just some personality trait that you have to be stuck with forever. Now something bad happens and you hide, like opening night of HSM. And the crazy thing is that you think you're actually helping the other person, but you know what?
I'm actually hurting them?
No, you're actually hurting yourself. You can be the guy who runs. But is anybody gonna show up for that guy? You still have plenty of time to change that.
How?
If you want to be happy in the future, you better start speaking your mind to the people you care about.
I'm not gonna run away again.
I'm not gonna run away this time.
I love you.
Love you too.